India performed a rare miracle on June 21st. So, India has administered 88 lakh vaccines on a single day. It is a remarkable feat. Before I really explain this remarkable feat, its significance, and unravel the mystery behind it, let me tell you why this June 21st is such an auspicious day in India's inoculation program. Well, to understand this, we need to understand how the vaccine policy has undergone changes over a period of time. Till May 1st, India's vaccine policy envisaged that the center will procure the vaccines and supply it to the states and also to the private hospitals free of cost. Even the private hospitals will only charge the services, cost for services, and give it to the people. Well, this continued, and those above 45 were eligible for vaccination. So, this continued till May 1st. On May 1st, Government of India unveiled a revised policy. As per this new policy, Center said it will procure 50% of the vaccines and supply it to the state for free distribution to the people above the 45 years. But for the people below the 45 years, they can either get inoculated at the private hospital by paying an exorbitant price, or states can directly pay and procure from the private companies. So, this revised policy started from May 1st and it was completely chaotic. There was no supply of vaccines, states could not procure, even foreign vaccine manufacturers said they will not deal with the states. Ultimately, the states were up in arms, and finally, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced yet another revision of the vaccine policy. And as per this revised vaccine policy, center would procure 75% of the vaccines and distribute it to the states free of cost. The remaining 25 will be accessible to the private hospitals. So, this policy, this revised policy came into effect from June 21st. So, on the day the center has taken up the responsibility, India inoculated 88 lakh people on a single day. This is precisely why the Union Health Minister Harshvardhan said in a tweet that India achieved such an scintillating feat under the dynamic leadership of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But let me also clarify here, it is not the central government which runs the vaccination centers. Center only procures and supplies. It is the states that distribute the vaccines. Yet, Union Minister Harshvardhan does not wish to give the credit to the chief ministers, even if they are in BJP-ruled states. So, he wants to give credit only to the Prime Minister. Well, India achieved this remarkable feat. We need to give credit to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and all the chief ministers who made this possible. But unfortunately, we do not demonstrate cooperative federalism here. Well, let me again tell you why is it a remarkable feat. It is certainly a remarkable feat precisely because India needs to accelerate its vaccination program. As on today, only 5.5% of Indians have been vaccinated with 2 doses. The corresponding figures for Israel is 57%, UK 44%, USA 40%, Singapore 28%, Germany 16%, Russia 8%. Even this figure is a two-week old. I am sure this might have got increased and if we have an updated figures. So, if you look at the proportion of the population covered so far with 2 doses, India does not even figure in 100 nations. Well, I do agree that India has given over 25, 26, 28 crore vaccines, but that is the absolute number of vaccines. But in a pandemic situation, we need to look at the proportion of the population immunized rather than the total absolute number of vaccines. Because virus trajectory does not depend on how many vaccines have you administered. It essentially depends upon how much percentage of the population is inoculated. So, therefore, we need to look at the population percentage rather than the absolute number of vaccines given. So that's the one reason. Second reason why it is a remarkable feat is India was giving around 30 lakh vaccines per day. Even during April in the peak also, India has not crossed 40 lakh vaccines per day. So given this level, 88 lakh vaccines per day is double than what India has ever achieved in the past. So therefore it is a remarkable feat. Even on June 20th, India has administered only 31 lakh vaccines. But on June 21, it suddenly rose to 88 lakh vaccines. Well, on June 22nd, many thought that it will witness a precipitous decline, but that did not happen. India, even after vaccinating 88 lakh people on June 21st, on June 22nd, we have inoculated again 53 lakh people. So therefore, it is certainly a significant achievement by any stretch of imagination. And we need to appreciate the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Chief Ministers who could make this possible. So to this extent, the story is only off. So it is something like a off full, off empty glass syndrome. So the story is off glass, off full till now. Then I will tell you the second part of the story to understand how it is off empty also. So what is the extent of production of vaccines in India? India's capacity is, as of today is 38 lakh. How much are we producing? We are producing around 32 lakh vaccines per day. So obviously when I saw this figure, as a layman, I got a doubt. So when India is producing around 32 lakh vaccines per day and when its total capacity doesn't cross 38 lakh vaccines, how is that we could give 88 lakh vaccines on June 21st? And 53 lakh vaccines on June 22nd. How is it possible? When the production itself is not there, how was it possible that we could vaccinate so many people? So, if the Sputnik is still not available and it is unlikely that we get mass supply of Sputnik vaccines before January. So, therefore, how did this happen? To understand how did this happen, we have to look. I will give you the one simple case study of Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh was the star in this miracle. So it has given vaccines to 17 lakh people on June 31st. So almost 1 in every 5 Indians vaccinated on June 21 belong to the state of Madhya Pradesh. Surprising, but you will be furthermore surprised to know that Madhya Pradesh has seen only 692 vaccinations on the previous day, June 20th. So on the next day, June 22nd, it has only given 5,000 vaccines. What does it matter? What does it mean? It has simply resorted to hoarding of vaccines. To give 17 lakh vaccines on a single day, it was essentially for record rather than achieving any public health goal. So if you only look at June 21, 17 lakh is a remarkable figure. But if you combine June 20, 692, June 21, 17 lakh, June 22, 5,000, what does it mean? It again means over 5 lakh vaccines per day on an average in these 3 days. So are we actually playing matches or are we really achieving a public health goal? This is the first question which we have to. Second, well, it is as I already explained, it is remarkable. So we need to still further increase the pace of vaccination because the government of India now says it will give 257 crore vaccines by the end of December. So earlier the figure was 216 crore. Now it has updated it to 257 crore. To give 257 crore vaccines, we need to administer 97.5 lakh vaccines per day. So we have proven the capacity to vaccinate 88 lakh people on a single day. So this is the capacity demonstration. So we now have the capacity to even immunize 1 to 1.5 crore people provided vaccines are available. So without ramping up the vaccines, and when you store the vaccine for a particular day, you will perhaps only achieve records but not achieve the public health objective. So this is the first point which I want to tell. Then the second point is, look at the states who are on the top in this record-breaking vaccination drive. So out of the 10 states, top states, 7 are BJP-ruled states. So see the binary BJP-ruled state versus non-BJP-ruled states. Gujarat, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana. These states account for more than 50% of the vaccines given on June 21st. Well, this raises a question. Supply, is there any skewed distribution of vaccines by the central government? Well, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said that Delhi has not received even a single dose of vaccine on June 21. Congress has already raised the question whether vaccines are supplied only to the BJP-ruled states. So, unfortunately, vaccination should not be a political binary. Virus doesn't discriminate between BJP-ruled states and non-BJP-ruled states. So, certainly the center has to answer why this strange difference between the BJP-ruled states and non-BJP-ruled states on the day India achieved remarkable feat. Then I'll tell you the third thing. I have explained even in the past that Covaxin needs to play a very important role in India's vaccination. But surprisingly, right from the beginning, Covaxin had a muted presence. So on June 14th, Covaxin accounted for 15% of the jobs given in India. Now on June 21st, Covaxin accounted for only 7%. Why did this decline? So we are supposed to expand the Covaxin production, and the government of India said that the Covaxin technology is to be shared with public sector companies like Afkin's Biopharma, National Immunological Limited, Bharat Biological and Immunological Limited. What happened to the production expansion of the production capacity of the Covaxin vaccines? So I told even in the past also, well, government has delayed sharing the technology of the Covaxin. If the government has shared the technology of Covaxin 6 months before, I'm sure there would have been increased production of Covaxin. So the delay is costing us dearer. Therefore, the Covaxin, which was supposed to play a pivotal role in India's vaccination program, still remains very low in the overall vaccination program. So, therefore, India's remarkable feat of administering 88 lakh vaccines on a single day is certainly a demonstration of our capacity to immunize even more than 1 crore people a day. But ultimately, there should be a supply of vaccines. We only hope that the vaccine supply will improve, and vaccination is a serious activity rather than a politically publicized a record breaking or an activity aimed at achieving records.